Okay, we're live.
Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to week 12 cast assessment for Big Brother Revival. So I guess we have to talk about the live night in week 12. So basically, here's what you missed. So Ashvika went home against Veronica. Then Julia won HOH during the first part of the live night, put up Anthony and Yosef. Sarah G won the veto, did not use. Yosef went home. Then Anthony won HOH, put up Julia and Sarah G. Julia won the veto, saved herself. Veronica went up, Sarah G went home. Now Zach won HOH and veto this week and put up Veronica and Elijah, and it looks like it's about to tie. And it looks like he's going to evict Elijah between the two. So I guess we'll start with Ashvika going and talk about the first part of the live night. Like, what are your thoughts on I guess Ashvika going and then Julia's HOH during the live night?
Ashvika going was really, really sad, obviously, because she bodied this season and had done so well. But I think it was kind of the obvious decision. Ashvika and Veronica brought about the same level of compatibility, but Ashvika had the threat level the size of the sun. And considering there was a conglomerate of people in this game who were going to lose against a lot of people, they needed to start shipping the threats out of here. So it was kind of predictable, but a shame.
Yeah, I agree. I think I wish she could have stayed just because she played so amazing the entire time. But it was just I guess it was just her time to go because it was
Yeah,
smart to get her out.
yeah, I agree. My personal bias is that I wanted her in the game, but I think everyone made the right decision for that. Um, so. So Julia, her HOH. Well, I want to say, and maybe I'm a little bit biased because I'm friends with her, but I think what's iconic about her HOH is that for 3 weeks now, people have been trying to get out Yosef or Anthony, and no one did it. A crystal was played, her first HOH was ruined, then the next week Zach's HOH completely flopped, and Ashvika went home, and then she snapped and she put him up and she did it. She got out Yosef. So I think for her that was the move that she needed to make.
Yeah, no, I think it was great. I think she did everything perfectly. I think the only flaw would have been if one of them won veto or it got used on them. But I think the others still would have went regardless. So I think that yeah, no, I think it was a good move for her, and I think getting out Yosef is definitely just what the house needed to do.
Mhm. That whole round was crazy because there was both Anthony and Yosef having the most fight the whole time, and then also Yosef begging Sarah to use the veto. There was just a lot happened there, and it kicked up a lot of dust that kind of gave Julia a bit. Even though she had to win veto the next round, it gave her a bit of cover with other people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
I think Sarah should have used the
I agree.
veto because if she was able to use the veto and keep both Anthony and Yosef safe and be able to get into that super quickly, um, Anthony winning the next HOH, she probably wouldn't have left. Um, but upcoming this week, she probably would have gone if Zach still had won HOH and all that. So I mean, her getting evicted, it was gonna happen sooner or later. But I think if she vetoed Yosef, I feel like it would have made her survive the live night.
Mm.
I think what honestly probably cemented it though was how Yosef just kind of unraveled live in front of everyone's eyes, was saying all crazy things, making all crazy deals with her, literally on voice in front of everyone. He asked her to go to a separate VC and talk, and she's like no. It just was kind of an unraveling. But yeah, no, I agree. I think had she used it, maybe she would have stayed. But the thing with Sarah G is that I think she was kind of living on borrowed time. Her clock
Mhm.
was ticking. and like probably should have gotten her sooner because she's been so messy, and then it finally caught up to her during the next part of the night. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm glad that she left on like an Anthony HOH where it was somebody that was actively against her, and it was like kind of been known the whole season because she literally tried to backdoor him like
Yeah.
I
at the
forgot she
beginning
did
of the week.
that.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game. So like it's kind of like, you know, it's Anthony's. I would feel really bad if it was like Julia won HOH and then like backdoored her, or
Yeah.
Zach. I feel like that would have been that would have hurt a lot more. So it's good that it's just an Anthony that she got out on because it was kind of expected as soon as he won HOH.
Yeah, honestly, what changed that was during the week, like the whole post notes thing, how Sarah G was like on Zach and Julia's side, and so when Julia, her plan that she told Zach before live night, like before the post notes incident happened, she was gonna put up Sarah G and Yosef, and she was gonna be like, fuck it, or Sarah G and Ashvika, and she wanted Sarah out. And because of what happened with all the like reblogging and how the three of them kind of like teamed up, like that kind of got her through the first round. So I think she played it smart going back to them, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Yosef, he kind of reminded me of Jose in Ore, when he'd been kind of like who in pre-jury was kind of juggling all these plates, and then as jury started, he just kind of ran out of steam, and he kind of his game like fell apart, and he kept hustling to stay, but it was just kind of too late. Like it just reminded me a lot of that, like that kind of sort of juggling it so effective, and it just suddenly drops all the plates, and it just suddenly falls apart.
For him, like a lot of things happened where it was like the worst case scenario. Like when Julia won veto that week and vetoed his noms and his hands. Like that's like basically what started his downfall, you know?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
where he like went around to Veronica, told her that she was going up. Like that's kind of where everyone started being like, what the fuck? 'Cause
Yeah.
before that he had such like a good handle on honestly everyone. Like he was doing so well. But yeah. I don't know. I think he played well. Just, you know, it happens. You go.
His hustle is like unmatched. No,
Impeccable, yeah, I've never seen someone hustle like that. And then also how he wrote like on his forearm all these different things to different people. Like Ashvika is my Johnny, Sergi is my Johnny, Veronica is I'm Veronica's bitch. Like all this stuff, and it's like they all were like comparing notes during the live event. It was just good entertainment, like fun to watch.
Mhm.
Messy, but. So I guess that's it for the first part of the live night. The next part was Anthony winning HOH.
Oh my god.
Sarah.
Oh my god.
What was that?
What?
You just like repeated yourself like 10 times. And it was
I
super
love that.
glitchy. What were you saying?
Oh, I just said the second part of the live night. Honestly, like, I think with Anthony, it's like he's just in a survive mode, so like, nothing that he could do as HOH would be really bad at this point. Like, I think for him, it's just like get to the end. Like, the fact that he got Sarah G out was good, but I think for his game, Julia going would have been better. But like, you can't control. Sometimes, you know, people
Yeah.
win veto, so I don't discredit him for that. But I think he was smart to get out Sarah G because it's someone who could beat him at the end. So.
At the
And
time,
smart to not nom Zach. Sorry, go
Mm.
ahead.
I was about to say, at the time, I thought nominating Zach was a terrible decision. I thought he needed to go after Zach. But considering Zach then won HOH and kept him safe, I take it back. But like at the time, I was like, no, you missed a golden opportunity to take out Zach, who's like the winner right now. But it was fine in the end.
Yeah, I think getting out Sarah G was pretty fine. Like, I think it was a good move. I think him winning HOH, like, literally could have done anything. And I think him, yeah, I definitely think him not nomming Zach was a really good move. But not at the time. But also, I think Zach made a bad move by not nominating him this week.
We'll get to that. Yeah, I think Anthony has like such a good like underdog story now that all of his allies are on jury, and also he has all of his allies on jury. Like that's
Mhm.
such a powerful position to be in, especially now with Elijah likely heading to the jury. Like, the only person on jury who doesn't like him, like, as a player is Sarah G, but who knows? She's nuts, no offense. So, like, you don't know what she could change her mind. I think she would respect the game, so I think he's in a really, really good position. He just has to make it to the end. And like you said, he could have done anything during that HOH and it would have been fine. But I think he did a good job with what he had. Yeah. I think, yeah, that's about it for that. So Zach's HOH week, he puts up Veronica and Elijah. Wins veto, like, he had a sweep week. He could do whatever he wanted this week. And Veronica, or more likely Elijah, is going to be going home this week. Thoughts?
This week is so odd. Like, it's such a weird event sequence. It's just bizarre.
I think if Zach loses the game, it's because of this move. I think if he got out Anthony right now, he can beat every single person in a competition, and then Julia, who is his very, very loyal ally, that he can 100% beat in the end. Yeah. At this point, like, it's like, will he win against Anthony in the end? I don't know. Can Anthony win competitions and beat Zach? Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know the thought process of, I guess he thought that if Power gets into the 4 people that can't, okay, 3 out of the 4 people that are, like, in that group haven't won a competition, and then Roxy won an HOH that was complete luck. So, like, I don't understand why he would think that, like, he would have to worry about one of them winning an HOH.
Yeah, I think it's just, like, a bit, like you said, if he gets evicted before Final 3, this is why. Because he's putting his eggs in Anthony's basket, metaphorically, but Anthony just wants to make it to the end. Like, he'll take out whoever. Like, and I think that's been clear when he almost nominated Dom during his first HOH week. You know, like, Zach kept him safe this week, which was a choice, but like you said, now he has a lot more competitive threats in the game. Like, Julia, I think he also, like, is just not trusting of her when she literally has made it clear that she wants him to win, like, more than herself, because she knows that she can't win. She wants to get him as far as possible, and having her and him in the game ensures that one of them will win every single competition, basically, unless it's luck. And so it's just a big unknown letting Anthony get further in the game, because also Julia, like, yeah, fine, like, because I read his little, like, logic through it, and he's like, oh, well, he'll put up Julia and Veronica next week. And it's like, there is a veto, you know, like, and there is a very strong chance that Julia wins veto and saves herself. And then it's like, is Anthony really gonna waste his HOH on Veronica? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
especially at Final 6, like, and Zach was talking in terms of like, oh, well, there's only 2 threats left in the game competition-wise if I take out Anthony. And it's like, yeah, because it's Final 6, that's good. You want to be one of the only threats standing. Like, you don't want to go forward with people who could beat you at the end, which, like you said, I don't know if Anthony beats him. I think maybe Zach would win, but why would you even take that risk when you can send someone to jury who would beat you at the end, or is the most likely to beat you at the end?
Yeah, like,
and sending Elijah to jury makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Like honestly, it just, because at this point, he plays in every veto. He can save himself. He plays, after this week, he'll play in 2 competitions a week, but he just has to win 1. And if his odds against Julia, like, Julia will keep him safe, but, like, even then, it's just Julia. Like, now he has to worry about Anthony as well. Like, he has to beat 2 people who are really good at competitions. So it's like, I don't really know. I feel like I would have just gone for, like, who I can beat in competition-wise and just try to competition my way to the end.
Yeah, and it was like, this week was served to him on, like, a silver platter. Like, Anthony wasn't even chosen for veto. It was so easy for him to just, like, go with this plan. It's like God whispered it in his ear, like, do this. And he just like was like no. Like I just can't imagine like being at the end of the game and being like you had his first HOH, which was the one where Ashvika left, who wasn't his target. Like that was like a secondary target, which was good for him that Ashvika left, by the way. But he didn't get out Yosef or Anthony his first time, and now his second time he's sending home Elijah. Like it's not a great resume builder, you know?
But also just
And also people are evicting Elijah. Sorry, I didn't mean
That's
to.
what I was about to say. That's literally what I was about to say. Like, beyond just Zach, it doesn't benefit anyone except maybe Julia to evict Elijah. Like, I don't Louise and Anthony aren't, so it's not like I'm not. This is like I don't get why Roxy's evicting Elijah. Like, I don't understand why he's not staying. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, because, like, honestly, the only win condition that Roxy has is, in the end, against Elijah. Like, literally, Elijah just has to be there, and she might get some votes. Because, like, every other person will beat, like, some combination will beat her, like, 100%. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And like, sorry, no, I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry. I do think the jury's being a little bit harsher on Roxy than they should be, but at the same time, she isn't helping herself by continuing to target people she beats.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree. I think the other thing that played into this week is that Zach kept being like, "Oh, this is a game of 3 trios and me," and it's like bad read. Like him being like, "Oh, Veronica, Roxy, and Julia are a trio, and Louise, Elijah, and Anthony are a trio." I think that that's really like reductive because it's not. The game isn't that simple, like 3 versus 3 versus 1. Like there's a lot of other things going on, and just because, like, I don't know, it's like it's just very like the logic was really hard to read when he was typing it in his DR as to what he was going to do this week. And I also think too that the style of the HOH competition, like all the people that maybe he wanted to see win HOH got themselves out and then he was in a position where like it was down to him and Julia, but I would have thrown it. I would have gotten out on a fake one. There were so many. I would have been like, oops, and then Julia would have been HOH, and that's a week without blood for him, you know?
Yeah, because Julia also would have gotten out Anthony. Well, I guess he didn't throw it because he didn't want Anthony to go.
Yeah, which makes no sense. And I'm really nervous for him because I really think that next week, like, I really feel like this game's very predictable, and next week Anthony's gonna come into power, and Veronica and Julia are gonna go up on the block. Julia's gonna win veto, and Zach's gonna go up, and Zach's gonna go home. I really think that's what's going to happen, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it won't happen that way, but I don't know. I don't see the pros of keeping Anthony.
Well, yeah, honestly, I don't know. I feel like Anthony in this game, like, I never know when he is telling the truth because everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. Like, I've sat on calls with him and he has just lied, like, and then will, like, go to the opposite side and then tell the opposite thing. So it's like, I don't know, it's been a really repeating pattern. And if I was Zach, like, Zach, literally, Anthony was on call with Zach, and Anthony was like, oh, like, if you put up Ashvika and Yosef, like, I won't use the veto, like, you have nothing to worry about, like, I'm on your guys' side. And then, like, went really hard and then used the veto. Like, in my mind, I would have been like, all right, like, he's a liar. Like, because that isn't the first time that he, like, lied to them. And so, like...
To that, like, they're underestimating how much the jury, like, is all the people that he worked with. Like, literally every one of his close allies is on jury. Like, he has no bad blood. The only person who he has bad blood with is Sarah G, and, like, that's one, you know? So I think, like, his threat level in the game should be astronomical. He also, like, this isn't, like, a buyback situation. Like, he got someone to use a revival crystal on him. Like, I think that's really gonna change from like if someone wins a buyback and comes back. When you get someone else to play a power on you that brings you back into the game, that's very different than winning like a buyback. And I think the jury's going to, well, we know that the jury's going to look at that instead of like a reason why you shouldn't vote for someone, like a reason why you should vote for someone. And so if I was anyone in that game, I do think that like especially Roxy and Julia and Veronica, they're like, yeah, he needs to fucking go. And I think Zach's making a mistake by thinking that they'll do his dirty work when Anthony can turn out a comp. So yeah, I don't know.
To be honest, I think Zach's going to be. I think Zach's still probably going to win. I just think he's made his path harder. Like, for some reason, I just really, really see people voting Julia. I think it's going to be Julia, Zach, Noms next week, and Julia's going to leave somehow. But so I feel like he's going to be fine. I just feel like he's made his path about 600 times harder than it needs to be.
Yeah, maybe he kept Anthony around because he knows that Anthony, if he wins HOH, then he's gonna go after Julia, and then maybe just like get Julia out for him. But I don't know. Maybe he doesn't see that the jury literally hates her. So I guess we can't really blame him for that. But like,
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
yeah, I guess he
Yeah,
thinks
he's
that
so, like-
that everyone really likes her.
Yeah, he's literally like, oh, I have to get Julia out soon. And it's like, honestly, like, you could take her to the end and, like, curb stomp.
Oh yeah, like
You
you
know,
could
like, not
literally
saying-
win unanimously.
Yeah, like, not saying that that's right or wrong, but, like, that's how the jury is. Like, Julia literally has one stan out of, like, 6. So, and I doubt anyone else would stan her besides Zach, like, if he got evicted. Maybe, like, Veronica. But, like, there's no way, like, unless something really crazy happens, that she comes close to winning, and his eyes are on that target when they should be on Anthony. And I don't know how much of that is Anthony's credit that he's able to do that, and how much of it is just Zach being, like, really paranoid and cracked. And honestly, having seen more of Julia's game and respecting her more as a player than the jury does, like, maybe that's why, because he knows that she's actually played, like, not an amazing game, but, like, decent enough to be respected, you
Mhm.
know, when the jury doesn't even respect her as a player.
Yeah, for sure.
But, no, I agree with you, Allie, though. I do think Zach still, like, could probably easily make it to the end after this, but I think he just, like, gave himself a lot more stress and, like,
Yeah.
a lot more comp that he's going to have to win.
Yeah, I agree.
Because now I feel like Veronica will nominate Zach and Anthony, and Julia will nominate. Maybe Julia's the only safe outcome, but Louise will nominate Zach, and like all these people have nominated Zach, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be a rocky road for him.
Yeah, like, he's gonna have to pull out, like, a veto win or, like, one win a week, basically, to make it to the end. Whereas before, if Anthony wasn't there, the odds of him or Julia getting into power were very, very high for the rest of the game. Because they basically have done that, like, every week since, yeah, I think since, like, Roxy's HOH. They've been HOH except for the one that Anthony won. And so it's like, if he took out Anthony, it's like, they're just gonna keep rotating HOHs like they have been the past, like, 5 weeks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we're beating a dead horse. I don't know. What do you guys think of, like, Veronica's game? We didn't talk about her at all.
I think
Round.
she's like the jury's third favorite now after Zach and Anthony, and I keep going back and forth on whether that's justified, because I feel like I think the jury's completely not giving Julia any respect, which I think is a real shame. But I do think it's hard to know how much the credit for Veronica is justified. Because I think pre-jury she was snapping, and then I think jury she's run out of steam a little bit. So I would love to see her just do a little bit more in the end game to justify the standing she's getting.
Yeah, honestly, like, I think, like, I would love to see her just, like, maybe win the final HOH or, like, and then like cut Zach, like then I'd be like, all right,
Mhm.
like, but I don't know. And just like right now, it seems like she hasn't done much, and so I think it's just the jury likes her for like the likability.
Yeah, I think, yeah, no, I feel like that's very what I was about to say. It's like, it's kind of like the same as Yosef, where it's like her pre-jury game was actually like really good. Like she got put in a corner and then she came back and then she like slid under the radar. Got a little bit lucky with who won HOH, I'll be honest. But she was able to really like get in there and get far into the game. But then it's like she never really got back into like playing the game. Like it feels like she's just there to like survive. It's a very like
Mhm.
Kay kind of deal where it's like what like she's just survived. Like she's getting nominated, she survives the block, which is good. That's a pro. But it's not like where's the moves, where's the votes? Like she hasn't even voted in an eviction in a while. Like I don't know what she can really point to at this point other than like the fact that she is really likable and she is really good with social games. So like I think that's going a long way with this jury. But there are still opportunities for her to win comps, especially as or if the competition threats start leaving, maybe she could pull out a win and make a move. But
Mhm. I think her and Louise are in the exact same spot where they just desperately need a comp win, and they both keep trying, but they're up against like comp beasts. Like they both just desperately want to add to their resume, but they're just against such tough opposition.
no, I totally agree. I think it's just like one of them has, but in the next like 4 weeks, like they have to conceivably like win something, vote some way, like do something. Like that's not just surviving, because it's impressive that both of them, like honestly anyone in this season has made it this far, but like to win you have to do something that's more than just survive, you know.
Mhm.
Usually, I don't know, maybe this will be different, but
Like
we'll
I'm
see.
really,
I
really
wonder if it's gonna come back to bite. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go for it. No, just I'm really hoping one of them wins HOH tonight, just so they get a chance to do something.
Yeah, I hope so too, because it's literally been like the same, like it's been Julia, Zach, or Anthony literally since week 10. So,
Mhm.
but we'll see. Any other like comments?
Looks around.
Okay, well, guess that's
Okay.
about it. This will be over soon, so
Okay. Well,
adios.
goodbye.